is time sensitive. Now, if you want to stick around, let's do a little Q&A. I'm sure people guys a bunch of questions already. So we'll do that. If you got to take off, take off. Thanks so much. I do appreciate it. See you on the next one. But now let's come into the Q&A. Vitalik and Hoskinson, 2024. I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, this was a weird story. RFK Jr. brain has been eating my words. That wasn't the case. They said that they found a worm in his brain. This is from, you can Google this. Just Google RFK Jr. worm, and you'll see the story. Very strange. What are you going to do? RFK Jr. His crabby one is finally about to expire in 2025. I'd like for Republicans not to draft the tax code if possible. Yeah. Compassi says all Trump will do is screw the tax code again for another 8 years. I will remind you that Biden's tax plan is what? Is to tax you on unrealized capital gains. Does anybody remember that? Now, we've talked about this in the show numerous times. It's been going on like that. This will be the third year. It never passes because it's ridiculous. But the fact that they even talked about it and said, we're going to do this is unbelievable to me. Imagine this, your unrealized tax gains, right? You're sitting, you've done hard work, right? You've already gotten taxed for your income. Then you buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin's doubles. You're like, cool, all I got to do is hang on to this. Government comes in and says, not so fast. You owe us X, Y, and Z because these are unrealized gains. You need to pay us. And I don't care if you sell it or not. That's essentially what it is. That's what you want to do? All right, sounds good. But again, let me be crystal clear. We've talked about this many times. There's always a chance. Very slim chance that actually get passed. It's ridiculous. Even Mark Cuban came out and said, look, I support Biden, and that thing is ridiculous. It's never going to pass. Sure. I got 99 problems with Bitcoin at once. Sounds good. Can we vote for Jon Stewart instead? National treasure, Jon Stewart. You got to love him. This is the best America has to offer. Yes. The best and the brightest aren't running for president. Would you want to be a president of the United States? You know, the stress and the problems and the backlash you have to go through? No, thank you. Matt says Scaramucci is a Democrat. His best friend is SPF. I don't think his best friend was SPF. He's a fraud. I wouldn't say that Scaramucci is a fraud. I think he's got a lot of good insight because he worked very closely with Donald Trump. I believe he was his press secretary for quite some time. Some bad things happened, and he stepped down, and there was a lot of threats for family members. Very ugly situation. I don't want to get into that. Yeah. Rob said, your point was they're all liars. So you can guarantee 100% Trump will pivot and turn away from crypto once his big bank buddies get involved. Yeah, that's for sure. Not for sure. If that was the case, and if they're all liars, then maybe Biden would turn around on his stance on where he wants to be. You never know. You never know. You got to tell you that just to get elected, they pretty much say anything. Let's be honest. But to keep yourself in office, you got to keep doing what the people want. Brooklyn Joseph, we're going to say, oh, really? I didn't know that. It is a commonwealth. Thank you. Let's see. Better of two evils is Trump by far. People will say maybe. People will say not. I don't really. David says, so dictator or the end of crypto? Yeah. Or just vote RFK Jr. Or just don't vote at all. Maybe that's your response. See? Prisoner's dilemma. What are you going to do? Why can't you vote for president in Puerto Rico? Because it's not a state. That was one of the provisions. I don't know. Trump will flip hard against crypto moments after he meets Jamie Dimon and David Solomon. I guess if you look at it as, what's the future? Is banking the future, or is crypto going to be the future? And is that going to set up the United States for the next 10, 20, 100 years? Depends. I'm not in his head. Hello, cats. Thanks for coming up. RFK Jr. is putting limits to crypto. Yeah, I guess it's something. Crypto Robin says, Trump ain't for crypto. Obviously, his meetings are ignorant as hell at this point. Well, I can tell you, I don't know, because I can tell you who's not for crypto. It's Joe Biden, and his administration is totally anti-crypto. Has he done one positive thing yet for crypto digital assets? It's been 3 years. Has he moved the needle in the right direction? I don't think so. So again, you have to ask yourself, and this is just one issue, right? Of course, you can say whatever else it is and say, well, I'm voting because of this way, this way, this way. But just know you're going to get the same thing. And that's what Charles Hoskinson talked about in his video. And I concur with what he said. You're going to get the same thing. I don't know. How's Texas today? Is it a big difference in Puerto Rico? Yeah. In El Paso, it's the desert, so it's a little bit different. Puerto Rico is the place to be, though. Man, I got to tell you, like, I love Texas, I do, but it would be nice to be home. In Puerto Rico, going to the beach, relaxing, all that stuff. That's really what it comes down to, stress relief. Anybody have a question about crypto, or are we going to talk about politics all day? Yeah, I'm not going to answer any more questions about politics and who's this and who's that, because, come on. This is up for you guys to figure out. Hey, gosh, let's take a look. I own it, so I immediately got excited. Let's see. At least I'm honest. Let's see. Akash. Ooh, wow. Great. Here, look at this. Forget what I just talked about. Akash Network's up 16%. Very nice. Here's your deep in play. Decentralized file storage. I do like it. GPU processing, all that good stuff. Let's see how it's done in the last 7 days. It's pretty good. A month? Okay, now we're talking. 3 months? Still pretty good. 1 year? Okay. And the worst one, damn, it's actually doing really good. So this is the thing about, for older projects that really haven't done too much. If you've had a project that's been around since like 2013, 2014, it's hard to keep it in the top 50 just because either they got found out that they weren't doing anything, it's worthless, people weren't building in the bear market, and they just kind of dissipate. But Akash has been around since 2021, so they've been doing the right things. Good thing I bought some. But don't let that fool you. I bought a lot of things, and they haven't done too well. Runes being one of them, but maybe that'll pay off at some point. I am no genius in these departments. Denny Kane, what's your favorite Degen play right now? It's a good question. It's a great question. And before I answer that question, everything is a gamble, like a huge, huge, huge gamble when we talk about Degen plays and meme coins. So I just did a video which talked about how to stake Bonk. And Bonk was one of those projects that I said would be in the top, I said top 100. This was last year, because I thought it was like Dogecoin 2.0. And let's see. Yeah, it's looking okay. So Bonk is one of my plays I like. How about 7 days? Nope. 1 month? 3 months? Okay. 1 year? Okay, now we're talking. How about Max? Oh, shoot, even better. Hey, we're almost at, when was this all-time high? 2024. Yeah, I remember those days. So I did the video about how to stake Bonk and how to essentially compound interest. You can start to take those rewards every day and just restake, or once a week or once a month, and just restake, and off it goes. And it's done by a smart contract. It's not by third place. You don't lose your keys essentially. So there's that one. And Tuker is one of those projects that I find hilarious. And again, it's like, it actually does something. It's quite entertaining. I think ran over at Crypto Banter. They did a great project. And they said, look, we have a meme coin. Let me show you what it is. How about that? Hey, it's up 15% today. It's pretty good. And yeah, so, and then of course, the revenue that they get from their partners or whoever they're going to get for the partnerships, I guess, they're going to take that money and do buyback and burns. So it makes sense. Let's see. And here's our YouTube channel. Tucker Carlson. I find it hilarious. So there's that one. And then let's see, what else? Bowden, that's a good one. And MAGA, which is a token that's up, geez, I don't know how much today, but it makes sense. Anyhow, but remember, that's a very, very low percentage of my portfolio. And if you live by the meme coin, you'll die by the meme coin. So be careful out there. Fuzzbear. Rob, what's your outlook on ETH if they deny the ETH ETF? Would this be the gradual downfall of ETH? Would a POW like Caspa with smart contract have a chance to take? First of all, I own Caspa, so if it does that, great. We actually talked about this in NFA Live, and Nick, who was the CEO of Coin Bureau, had a really good take on it. And he said that, he's like, it's pretty much priced in, to a point. He goes, nobody really believes that this is actually going to go through, especially with who's in power right now, Gary Gensler. And he said, so it'll just kind of go on and pass. And then also, it was interesting to note, if you go to ultrasound.money, Ethereum just turned inflationary since the transfer from proof of work to proof of, I don't know if it's the first one, but it's inflationary, not deflationary right now. So it's not looking too great for Ethereum right now. But then one more thing he did talk about, he goes, people are kind of saying that this is actually good because as time goes on, they can actually accumulate a little bit more Ethereum, and then they can give, the ETF accolades to Bitcoin and postulate there. So my thought is this. I don't know if there's anybody who really truly believes that the ETH ETF is going to go through. I don't, but I was wrong on the Bitcoin ETF, so who knows? Yeah. Flesh Pistol. ETH is overvalued due to it being a first mover and having whales holding it up. It's true. There are way better chains, not saying it won't go up. There's way better chains, and those are layer twos. And I have to agree. There's a lot of whales holding it up. A lot of money sloshing around. So if you can get those whales to go to something better, cheaper, faster, easier, sure. A lot of things out there. But yeah, there's a lot of money locked in that. Let's see. Man, I got to tell you, it's split down the middle. Some people hate President Biden, and half the people hate Donald Trump. Nobody really hates RFK Jr. though. Yeah, Rascal's got a good point. RFK Jr. proposed putting government spending on the blockchain. Can you imagine that? Did you know that the U.S. government, the defense, for the defense budget, they actually lost $1 trillion, just disappeared somehow. Imagine putting that on the blockchain and backing 10% US dollars with Bitcoin. That'd be a pretty great idea. Let's see if he goes through with it. Remember, they're all politicians. Who knows? I think President Malay, didn't he say that Bitcoin was going to be the best thing of all time, and they're going to reintroduce that to their economy, and they're going to shut down the central banks, which they did do. But did they go as hard and as heavy into Bitcoin as he said? No, they did not. Waiting for that to happen. Yeah. Politics talk again. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't get behind this. Dron says the real problem is in Congress and Warren. I couldn't agree more. Jake today's got a good, and we'll leave it at this one. If the COVID crash happened 9 months later, what would that have done to the 4-year cycle? I think if you look at the response still would have been the same. And the response would have been the Fed and the Treasury going, okay, we need to print a lot more money. Because remember that it didn't really hit globally. I think it started, I want to say, in December of 2019 or January 2020. And then it started to spread. And then by March 2020 is when we had, all the lockdowns and pandemics and everything else. And that's when the printer got fired up. So if you take that and just 9 months later, I think it just would have accelerated things. We still would have had a bull run. It just would have been a little bit later. And we've been like, this is what happened. My big question is this. And I always thought this, if we get a recession, whatever the government classifies as a recession these days, I always thought it was 2 negative quarters of decline of GDP growth, that it would extend out these 4-year cycles. But now it looks like we're not going to have a recession. It's amazing. Anyhow, watch that video by George Gammon and also the NFA Live and, of course, Charles Hoskinson video. Check those out. But that's it for today. So look, like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate it, and not getting too disgusting in the chats. I really appreciate that. That's it. Thanks so much, everybody. See you on the next one.